Hey guys, check this out. I now have the Hobbyzone F4U Corsair S. Yes, and S means it has safe. So, safe is great for those of us who've not flown a warbird of this size before because it's got three levels. It's got beginner, intermediate, and then kind of an expert or experienced level in which turns all the controls off of the safe system. So, I've never flown a warbird like this before. Of course, I've flown these Super Cub. Learned on that, then I moved to the Apprentice, and this is the replacement for my Apprentice that I sold a few months ago. So I am excited to get this thing out of the box. I have a lot of big plans for this aircraft, and I've not been able to do anything with it. It's just been collecting dust here for the last few weeks. So let's go ahead and get this guy out. All right. Oh. Unlike the UMX birds that I have, this one will require some assembly. It's not as easy just to get it out of the box and fly it. So this is actually the second Corsair that I bought from Horizon. My first one, unfortunately, came damaged. The battery charger had broke loose and had damaged the airframe, damaged the wings, and I wasn't able to keep the airplane. Horizon did an amazing job with sending me this aircraft right away as soon as I discovered the problem. So I did open it up at least enough to make sure that this one did arrive safely, and from my initial review it did, but I haven't got it actually anything out of the box yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So first we got some bind and fly instructions. This is the bind and fly model. Normally the receiver would sit here. I'm going to be using my DX5E that I have for my Apprentice. So we'll be sure to follow the instructions on that for binding. We'll kind of start over here, I guess. This is, we got the battery, 3S powered, 1800 milliamp per hour. So it's a little bit smaller than what was inside my the Apprentice, but still a 3S battery, so I'm sure I'll be getting a lot more of these. I want to make sure I spend as much flight time as possible with this aircraft. I am really excited to finally fly a large warbird. So we have the charger wall socket, and this is actually what came loose on my first Corsair and kind of went around the box here and damaged up the airframe. So I probably will never even use this or the factory charger that comes with it. I have my own programmable charger that I'll be using. So this will probably just sit on the shelf for the rest of its life. Let's get this out. These look like the landing gear. Yep. So here we have the main landing gear, and they look a little, honestly they look a little spindly. The struts don't really look very scale at all, and the wheels look kind of small. So I actually have some Robart strut covers coming for the airplane that will really kind of make this thing look a lot more scale. And I'll probably be upgrading the tires as well to something better than this. This may work to get me started, but I'll probably look at upgrading those as well. So there's the bag of landing gear. Also included are landing gear doors inside here, as well as skids. So if I want to fly without any landing gear on here at all and just want to fly it hand launch and belly land, I have the skid plates to do so. I'll have to look into exactly how easy it is to kind of go in between the two, because I'm sure I'll be flying a little bit of both hand launch as well as off the ground. So, but it's nice they actually include skid plates that go right on the wing that you can land on, so you're not damaging the foam. So there is that. I think that pretty much covers most of the loose items. The charger is here. As I mentioned, I have my own charger, so this will probably never get used. So I'll toss this off to the side. It is nice having one with a cigarette lighter, but I really don't see me ever charging one inside the car. All right, so let's get the airplane out here. Everything is very well packed and taken care of on this airplane. That's, Horizon Hobby does a really good job of how they ship the aircraft and how they protect them. It's unfortunate my last one was damaged, but actually the foam carrier for the plug was broken, and that's what caused it to move around. The aircraft itself was well secured. Just the plug wasn't. So all right, here's the wing. Everything looks to be very nice. The servo wires are right here. These will be running up through the fuselage. Looks like 2 pins in the back, and then 2 screw holes up front here will attach it. You can see where the landing gear attach here. The skid plates would go over the top of that. Servo wires, everything is already covered. So really, once this aircraft is in the air, it's gonna look really outstanding. Everything is well covered, well marked. Got plenty of panel lines. They're a little bit larger than they should be for scale, but that's pretty common with a foam. Set that off to the side. By the way, the wingspan on this is actually 44 inches long. So if you're trying to get a comparison to how big that is with other aircraft, it's a 44-inch wingspan. All right, so now out comes the fuselage. Once again, everything looks really good on the airplane. I see that there's some large cooling holes on the back, and the tail wheel is already assembled, and the tail wheel actually steers. Cowl is installed, props installed, and that brings me to one of my really kind of major complaints of the airplane. This cowl and engine, and if you take a look at the kind of what I consider like the dummy motor, this looks, for an airplane that you spend this kind of money on, this motor looks absolutely atrocious. In fact, even the cowling, the shape is right, and the cowl flaps look good, but without any panel lines on it, it looks a little ridiculous. But this motor is not looking good at all. I mean, the actual motor, of course, is a brushless motor, but the dummy motor that you see from outside, which should normally be a radial engine, looks terrible. And the 2-bladed prop looks very, not to scale. So how am I going to fix that? Well, I have a dummy motor from a F6F Hellcat that I'll actually be cutting the, wagon wheel out, and I will be detailing this, weathering it, making this look like a real radial engine that would belong in a Corsair launching off a carrier, and I will fit that on the inside. The other thing I have is a 3-bladed prop. This is actually meant for this is right from Park Zone. You can use it on the Corsair or on the Trojan. However, from what I understand, it's a little bit brittle. So if you're going to do any belly landings, make sure you have plenty of spares on hand. I will probably use this as a display prop, or maybe only with landing gear, and use this one for belly landings. Really, when the airplane's in the air, you don't see the prop that much. So this may only be for display. I also have some graphics here from Cali Graphics. These are the Hamilton Standard propeller logos, and the nomenclature from the U.S. Navy on the prop specs that would go on the prop. So I'll be sure to get these on as well to give it that extra level of realism. And overall the aircraft does look fairly scale. However, I do have some plans for it to kind of really improve the aesthetics of the airplane in the air. One thing would be, of course, replace the motor, add some weathering to the actual airframe, some panel detail on the cowl itself. The cockpit could use a little bit more work. However, it's really not too bad. I'd say it's probably good enough that I will kind of keep it as is. But I do want to weather it so it does look like the thing has actually been in combat a little bit. So we'll take a look at the battery cover here. There's a little switch on the back that releases the canopy and battery cover. So it just pulls off. We'll take a look inside. We have the AR636A with safe and AS3X receiver mounted here already. We have the servo leads for the ailerons. Everything else is already wired. Here is the battery lead right here. The battery sits in a Velcroed area right there. So we'll, once we get the airframe already, get everything set, we'll put the battery in and we'll check the center of gravity. But otherwise, everything else looks good. Servo for the tail wheel and rudder are already installed. So then to reinstall the canopy and battery cover, just simply press it on, pops into place. So we'll set that off to the side here for a quick second here. going to try to get it to assemble, but it's a little harder to do it blindly here. But anyway, we also have the horizontal stabilizer. It's also in the box. We'll get this out. So yeah, nothing really too unique here. Otherwise, just a standard horizontal stabilizer that will be installed on the back. So overall, the airplane looks pretty good. However, it does look, firstly it looks a little brand new, and if this is going to be fighting in combat, it's not going to look quite that good. So we're going to do some weathering to it. We're going to do, this up here is the front fuel tank. It's going to have fuel spills on it. There's going to be exhaust stains, oil stains, things like that. So there's going to be an extensive amount of work before I can fly it to actually weather the aircraft. And one thing I have noticed too is there's a lot of misconception over the markings on the aircraft. There's a lot of people who think that this is a beginner trainer and it has these arrows on it to tell which way is up, which way is forward, and this yellow cowling for orientation. That's actually not true at all. This aircraft here was actually stationed on the USS Bunker Hill. It was flown by Lieutenant Commander Roger Hedrick, and he was the commanding officer of VF-84. And he actually originated from VF-17, which was the Jolly Rogers, and later, after World War II, VF-84, which was sadly taken out by a kamikaze attack on the Bunker Hill, was no longer part of World War II. The VF-84 name was reborn later as the Jolly Rogers, and if anybody's been a fan of the F-14 Tomcat and knows the movie Final Countdown, VF-84, the Jolly Rogers were heavily featured in that movie as the Tomcat crew. So there's a lot of history involved in this airplane, and these markings are not for orientation. These are the markings that would have been on Commander Hendrick's Corsair stationed aboard the Bunker Hill. And the yellow on the nose actually indicates that this aircraft took part in a raid on Tokyo. So it's not for orientation either. It is because the yellow designates that the aircraft was used in a raid in Tokyo. The aircraft was also used in support operations for Iwo Jima. So there's a lot of history involved here, and I really want to do my best to try to make the aircraft look right and really look like it's been in combat. And I think I can do that, and there'll be a follow-up video when the aircraft is fully weathered. But overall, this is the Hobbyzone Corsair S with safe. And this will be my next airplane until I decide to get something else. But I'm excited to finally have a large-scale warbird to fly. There's a lot of little scale features I'm going to be doing to it over the next few months before I can fly it. And I'll report back with a video when that is done. I've had my eye on the Corsair for a very long time, back when this was a Park Zone aircraft. And then when they had version 2 with the retracts and the flaps. And not quite ready for that level of flying yet. This is, I think, a great step to go in between the Apprentice into another warbird. So excited to get this thing weathered and get up in the air, get it assembled, get everything checked out on it. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed my unboxing review of the Hobbyzone F4U Corsair S.